The Citadel unfortunately Greenville and walks out of Greenville losers to Furman University. We're back here on Citadel Gray Line. Different locale this week. We are in downtown Columbia, SC. Thank you. We're broadcasting from Greek Boys, right on the corner of Hampton and Sumter Street in South Carolina's capital city. It's our very first time to ever broadcast in downtown Columbia, SC. Thank you for tuning in to this show, again, that covers all things Citadel. Thanks to Greek Boys. George Samellas, the owner of Greek Boys, he's going to join us here. You know, it's almost lunchtime, so wherever you are in the Palmetto State, it's not asking too much for you to get in the car and head on down to downtown Columbia. Traffic is not bad, plenty of parking, and George is going to come on and tell us more about Greek Boys. In fact, he has a son that is a current cadet in the South Carolina Military College, and he's going to come on and Columbia, South Carolina is our co-host. That would be Jeff Hartsell, a University of South Carolina alumnus. And Jeff, we're back to the markers and all the signs pointing out to your college career. Can you hear me, Jeff? Hello.
Yeah, all the monuments to Jeff Hartsell out there in downtown Columbia. I'm sure they're still standing.
Well, good to be here for you for yes, we got here going on because we are out of our but we're going to try to play as best here on today. And what happened against Furman before we bring on some Samellas of Greek Boys. What the
Don, I can't hear your question. I'm sorry.
I asked about what happened last week against Furman.
Well, I can only imagine you're asking about the Furman game. And,
Yeah.
It was a game that maybe neither team really deserved to play that great, although the school's defense was really good for out of 52 plays. On 50 plays, Furman averaged 2.8 yards. On the other two plays, they had a 90-yard touchdown and a 58-yard touchdown. That was really the difference in the game. Courier lost 24-14. First night game at Palmetto Stadium in 5 years. And the first time ever the Citadel and Furman have played a night game at that stadium, as far as I know. So it was a nice setting, but not an elegant game.
Jeff here in a any look.
I could not make out any of that.
All right, everybody, here on the Citadel Gray Line, we're going to.
I cannot hear you, John.
Okay. Just a second. As we talk about Citadel athletics aboard, we're going to. That clip was from Brent Thompson as he discussed something actually a little bit different. I think Jeff might have even asked him the question, and the question asked to the head coach of the Bulldogs this week had to do with recruiting and some of the unusual things that not having to do, all because of COVID-19 and the transfer portal and more. Here is the Citadel's coach, Brent Thompson, from his press conference at Johnson Hagood Stadium earlier this week.
I'll give it just from our personal where we're at. This time last year, we are at about,
I guess because
that's an awful
it's
lot.
so gorgeous.
Probably, we did that on purpose. We don't know what our lives are going to be.
I don't know.
coaches. As I look at our personal roster and guys, I'm estimating us to be probably somewhere third of our scholarships. We are a high school recruiting program. And you just take that and you kick it across the year. Well, the transfer portal last year, at one time in the spring of last year, you take about another 12 or 1300 depth. And then you've got to look at those differences of those guys. So right there, you're probably going to give it about another 2,000. So I would say it's going to go on for at least another year. I think in another year, you'll see a huge drop-off. We'll probably go back to somewhere around 18 scholarships in about 2 years. But next year, scholarships will still be limited. We'll still be probably maybe half of that, maybe a third of those guys will take at the high school level because we still have some 5th and 6th year guys left. When you say a third of the usual amount. A third of your usual amount, yeah. So it'll be interesting. I think it's a challenge for these players. What we thought would happen was you'll see the junior college ranks kind of explode a little bit. They'll have their pick of their guys. But you also got to figure those guys, the junior college will still pick up some of the 4-year transfer guys as well. So the junior college football will be really good if you're going to recruit that angle, which we wouldn't necessarily go that route. You could see those start to fill up a little bit as well. So it's tough. I don't like where it is right now. I think it's very, very challenging from a roster management standpoint. I think it's very challenging from a high school coach, a high school parent standpoint. And it's really put the whole recruiting thing in flux right now, is because a kid can transfer anywhere he wants right now, be eligible immediately one time, up or down or across, doesn't really matter. And you could lose a guy late. You can pick one up late, and I do believe that there is a deadline somewhere in May or June, I believe.
Greek Boys in downtown Columbia, South Carolina. I'm John Rawl here with Jeff Hartsell. Jeff, we are going to go now to you via telephone. The old video work, kind of like the transfer portal, may not be working for some schools. Welcome to Hartsell.
Yeah, good to be with you, John. The recruiting landscape nowadays, and how hard it is for some of the high school seniors. For COVID players in college, so rosters are stuffed right now, and it's tough sledding for some of these good high school seniors right now.
Citadel continue to kind of be going.
The turnovers were a big problem at turnover 3, Furman 3 turnovers, and of course that last one was a backbreaker. That whole sequence was a backbreaker for the Citadel. They were down 17-14, and Raleigh Webb breaks the long gain on a reverse. The play is called back for blocking a defender out of bounds, and 2 plays later, Citadel the ball away from Adams deep in Citadel territory. Touchdown and a 24-14 victory. So defense actually played really well for 50 out of 52 plays. On those 50 plays, Furman averaged just 2.8 yards. On the other 2, he had a 58-yard touchdown pass and a 90-yard touchdown run. So except for those 2 breakdowns, Citadel defense played really well, but Citadel was not able to score when they got in the red zone. They were actually 11 of 21 on 3rd down, which is pretty darn good, but 0 of 4 on 4th down, and missed 2 field goals, which really hurt as well.
All right, and the kind of mood, if you would? I mean, after now several games back-to-back of losing at ETSU, Furman, is this going to be contagious in your opinion?
Well, I hope not. Brent Thompson was very hot after the game. I think because of his team's play, and also because of the call really reverse. I contacted the SoCon on Monday, and their director of officials said he thought that was the correct call, blocking the player out of bounds. The replay on ESPN3 was not definitive on the interaction between those two players, but they were definitely on the sideline over there ahead of Raleigh Webb, so the Furman defender would have had a chance to make the play on Raleigh on that play, but that play didn't cost them the game. Their own mistakes cost them the game. They have a chance to get well this week against Western Carolina, which is 0-6, but not to be taken lightly. They've played some close games, and under a new coach, Kerwin Bell, and I'm sure they're looking at this as an opportunity to break through for that first win.
All right. Jeff, the Bulldogs returned this week. Western Carolina, the opponent. This should be a winnable game for Brent Thompson's team.
It's a winnable game, but by no means a cinch. That's for sure. Western Carolina has a new coach, Kerwin Bell. You might remember him playing quarterback in Florida, coaching at Jacksonville, I believe, in Valdosta. He's I don't know if it's an air raid, but he likes to fill this guy up with passes. They have a good quarterback who played for him at Valdosta and transferred to Western, but he got injured a couple weeks ago, and his status this week is unclear. So we'll have to see who kind of starting quarterback. But they're 0-6 this season. Got wiped out by Oklahoma, but that doesn't really mean anything. And they have played some close games. So I'm sure they're looking for a breakthrough this week. The Citadel will have to impose their will on offense, and they did that against Furman, especially in the second half. The Bulldogs ran 89 plays, 252 for Furman, and held the ball for almost 37 minutes. And normally when the Citadel does that, they win. But the turnovers and the missed field goals really hurt them.
All right, Jeff, we will kind of abbreviate your report this week as we're broadcasting again from downtown Columbia at Greek Boys. Before we say goodbye to you, anything else sports related from Jeff Hartsell of the Charleston Post and Courier?
Well, I just want to mention that the SoCon is really wacky this year. We have 5 teams with one loss right now in the standings, so virtually 5 teams tied for first place in the SoCon. Chattanooga upset ETSU last week. I kind of thought ETSU might go unbeaten in the league, but that didn't happen. And boy, Nehemiah has really bounced back since losing to the Citadel. They beat Chattanooga 2 weeks ago, and last week they trounced Mercer 45-7. So it's really an interesting race in SoCon football this year. And also wanted to mention Citadel soccer and volleyball. They're getting ready to crank up for SoCon tournaments. The soccer team currently stands 5th in the league at 9-5-1, 3-3-1 in the league, and the volleyball team is actually tied for 4th in the league, 8-6 overall, and 4-4 in the conference. So it's great to see women's sports competitive in the SoCon this year. It's been a long climb for women's sports at the Citadel, but they are getting somewhere.
All right, Jeff Hartsell again of the Post and Courier. The Post and Courier you can get 4 months for $4. I've done it. You should do it too. They have so much great information coming in from all their different bureaus, including a Columbia bureau right here in the state capital of South Carolina. And nobody has the kind of coverage on Bulldog sports like the Post and Courier, and Jeff Hartsell, the beat writer, kind enough to take time and put up with us and all our little hiccups here, Jeff. One of these days we'll get it right. See, if I'd have gone to Carolina and studied journalism there, maybe we'd not have all these technical hiccups today.
Well, these things happen. So,
Well,
good luck.
good luck, and good luck to the Citadel again against Western Carolina. Everybody, again, Jeff Hartsell, Charleston Post and Courier. Jeff, have a great week.
Thanks, John.
Okay. All right. I am excited because I've got something right over here that was just delivered to me, and I'm going to start munching. Can y'all see that? I don't know exactly what it is. George Samellas is going to be stopping by here in just a second to tell us what this is, and he'll tell us more about Greek Boys, again, on Sumter Street in downtown Columbia. But first, let me remind you that the Citadel Gray Line, a presentation of CRM Sports, is powered in part each week by our great co-sponsors, and we've got two good ones, IPS Packaging and Big Red Palmetto Store. IPS Packaging and Automation, they're up in Fountain Inn, South Carolina, and they're a name you can trust. Since back in 1976, IPS Packaging and Automation has been providing manufacturers and e-commerce companies with the very best packaging products and automation in the entire industry. IPS offers a complete line of packaging products, from stretch films, 3M tapes to corrugated boxes, strapping, and equipment automation. IPS Packaging and Automation will analyze and streamline your current methods to improve your packaging process. Give them a call at 800-277-7007 to learn more, or visit IPS Packaging at the website ipack.com. IPS Packaging and Automation is a proud supporter of Citadel Athletics. Again, they're in Fountain Inn, we're in Columbia, and we're talking about a school that's in Charleston. We've got South Carolina covered, I do believe. All right, George is going to stop by here in just a second, but let me take this moment to kind of tell you a little bit more about why we're here today, as we are proud to be in downtown Columbia, and there is a Citadel connection, a big Citadel connection to right here in South Carolina State Capitol. And that connection is, I'm going to pull up the graphic, it's right there. It's South Carolina's governor's mansion before Henry McMaster and others started hanging out there. It was set up to be the officers' barracks of the South Carolina Military Academy. So if you take it back to 1842, when the SCMA was created, the freshmen, or knobs, would report to Columbia, and the upperclassmen would be at the Citadel in downtown Charleston. And that structure was the only part, the governor's mansion, the only part to survive Sherman's army as it invaded Columbia in 1865, and the officers' barracks of the arsenal would become South Carolina's governor's mansion. Isn't that a beautiful building? And isn't it a little bit reminiscent of what you'll find on Moultrie Street in Charleston, SC? I do believe it does look quite familiar. In fact, I get a little chill when I go by there when I'm in Columbia, because it makes me think I've got to put my chin in. But let me ask a trivia question, what we call here on Citadel Gray Line Knob Knowledge, and Knob Knowledge is brought to you in part by Big Red Palmetto Store. Big Red Palmetto Store has hundreds of items that you can go and get your favorite Citadel logo put right there. They've got apparel, they've got awesome things like duffel bags. I love those. I have one, I use it all the time. I used to have like a terrible bag I used. It was never big enough. But thanks to Big Red Palmetto Store, I've got one heck of a great item that I can put all my stuff in when it comes down to me being a traveler. So we have a trivia question, and it ties in to the founding of both the Arsenal and the Citadel. And if you text your answer to 843-779-8496, you'll get a $25 gift certificate courtesy of Big Red Palmetto Store. So take you back to 1842, 1843 when the Citadel and the Arsenal were going. Tell me the first superintendent of the South Carolina Military Academy. And if you have ever been a member of the Corps Cadets, you darn sure better know this answer, or maybe we'll just have to do something about it. I want to know the first superintendent of which that name was changed with Oliver Bond becoming the school's president. That name happened when he was the 9th president, but before that, the head of the school was called the superintendent. Tell me who the first superintendent of both the Arsenal and Citadel were, and you'll get a $25 gift certificate to Big Red Palmetto Store. Bringing the history here for today's Citadel Gray Line. George is right here with me, George is going to sit down. George, let me get my camera set up for you here. We got a lot of stuff going on, a lot of moving parts. And thank you, first of all, for letting us come here and be part of this great restaurant. We can hear you, but I can't see you. I'll fix that in just a second. You stay right there. Tell me what I've got in front of me right now, George.
All right, right in front of you right now, you have it's kind of a mini plate, just so we can
A mini plate.
have a few tastes for you.
Oh, thank you.
We have chicken souvlaki and beef souvlaki, a little Greek salad and some pita bread and some fresh homemade baklava, which is my great grandmother's recipe. So
Was she from?
Greece.
She was.
Yep. So that's what we have here.
Did you know your great grandma? Did you know her?
No, my grandma.
Your grandmother?
Yes, my grandmother.
So
yes.
you knew her?
I knew her, yep. So this generations passed down of the baklava recipe.
Well, it looks on you. I'm about to pull up the camera again. I didn't go to Carolina. I think you went there, right?
I did, yes,
Maybe
sir.
y'all Carolina people are better at some of this technical stuff than I am. All right, here we go. There's the dish. So this is what right here?
Pita bread.
Pita bread. I should know that. And what is this here?
This is our beef souvlaki.
Beef souvlaki.
Yep. Chicken souvlaki.
Mm-hmm.
And this is our Greek salad. And we serve it over rice.
Okay. Looks very good. And then what is that over here?
That is the baklava that I was talking about. My grandmother and great grandmother's recipes just passed on through generations. So it's can't eat much of it. It's so sweet, but
Okay.
it's pretty awesome.
All right, well, we're going to sit here and monitor the trivia questions. I don't know if you heard what I was asking. I was asking who the first superintendent of both the Citadel and the Arsenal were, and we're waiting on our first trivia question to come in. The correct answer to that trivia question. George, you may not know this. I know you weren't a cadet. Do you know the history that I just was talking about between Columbia and the Citadel? Do you know that connection?
I do not.
Shame on you. You didn't learn this as a knob at Carolina? So the Governor's Mansion, you know where that is?
I do, yes, sir.
That was actually part of the Arsenal, and the Arsenal was set up to be where freshmen from the South Carolina Military Academy would go to their first year. Then they'd go to a building called the Citadel in Charleston. So when the Military College of South Carolina was established, it had a campus, if you will, here in Columbia,
Sure.
and one in Charleston. How about that?
Wow.
Probably the first school to have two different campuses.
That's pretty awesome.
You know, they were visionaries. And then places like Salkehatchie and Lancaster started having campuses of USC. Let me get your beautiful face here on display for everybody, George, so people will know that you are a real person.
Real people.
Yeah,
Real people.
there he is, George. Everybody, I got even a graphic for you that I need to pull up here and show off. George Samellas, owner of Greek Boys. And we're going to kind of go through the menu with you here in a second, but how long has this been here?
We've been here 18 years.
18 years. And it's been in the same location?
Same location.
And you're getting a tap on the shoulder there, see? He's a business guy, and business guys have a lot of stuff going on, especially at lunchtime. And I bet it's about to be lunchtime. And again, bear with me here as we get all of our camera angles set up. We had a little.
We're having some Wi-Fi issues.
We had some Wi-Fi issues, and that completely threw me for a curve. Speaking of curves, are you a baseball guy?
I am a baseball guy.
Who do you like?
Well, I grew up going to the Red Sox and the Braves games, so this is setting up perfectly for me.
Oh, okay. Well, how about the Braves? Still have a 2-1 lead.
2-1 lead. They gave it up last night. That was a tough one.
Well, that Dodgers team's pretty good. You're defending World Series champion, LA Dodgers. Okay, I think I've got some stability here. So there's George again.
There we are.
All right, so you started this, you said 18 years ago?
18 years ago, yep.
And you're kind of a staple here in this part of downtown Columbia.
We are, yep. We feed all blue collar, we feed construction workers, doctors, attorneys. We have a wide variety of clientele that comes through here on any given day, and very fortunate to do something that I really love to do. And I'm a people person, so I love being around all the people.
George, my staff tells me that would be a very, very good staff here, that you're a native of Irma.
I am.
He's an
Irmo
Hermes.
graduate. Hermes, yep.
and again, you matriculated to USC, and were you doing anything outside of the business world before you started this?
I did. I used to sell heavy equipment for,
Did you?
For American Equipment Company. Then I worked for Blanchard Machinery.
Ah,
before
I guess you probably know my old running pal in 1991, Citadel alumnus, the great Toby, aka Brady Port.
I do know Toby Brady Port, yes.
Okay. Sorry about that. Yeah. Well, cool. So you again got into this, and this is a family business.
Yeah, I started it. Both of my parents worked with me and helped me before they have passed, but it's just been a good family business, and I was hoping to pass it on to my son, who is currently at the Citadel now, but he said that he does not want to work in the restaurant.
And that's again one of the reasons we have him on here today, is you're a Citadel parent.
I am.
So tell me what that whole process is like to have your son say, you know, I think I want to go to Charleston and not to the college.
Yes, this is something he's wanted to do since he was 12 years old. We went down there, he stood in front of the ring, and he said, that's where I'm going to school. I never thought about it again until it was time to apply for college.
Really?
And he said, Dad, I'm going to the Citadel. I said, well, that's great. It really didn't hit me until the day I was dropping him off. I was like, wow, he's going to the Citadel. And it was, as a parent, it's almost a numbing experience. Because both of you are scared to death. Just for the unknown, I guess it would be. You know, as you know, being a Citadel graduate, driving through that line where your parents drop you off, and then not to be able to see them again or hear from them again after what they used to call Hell Week, now Challenge Week.
I didn't know that. When did that
It's
come?
Challenge Week now, so.
Challenge Week.
Challenge Week. But anyway, but it's been a great experience for my son. You know, some challenges here and there, but it's a great institution. And as we spoke earlier, I think we talked about it. It teaches you certain life lessons that you probably won't learn at another school.
No.
So
I call them silly things you have to put up with. But,
silly things. Is a good
the
word.
Silly Dell. They need to rename it.
Silly
Especially
Dell.
after rebranding things like Challenge Week. Didn't know that, y'all. So your son, let's go ahead and embarrass him. His name is?
His name is R.J. Samellas. He's a junior, and he's in Lima Company. He matriculated through November Company, and then they did the company rodeo.
The sophomore shuffle.
Sophomore shuffle, sorry about that. So yes, now he's in Lima, and he's, I talked to him last night, and he's doing the interest meeting for BVA.
Ah.
So that's kind of where he's at right now.
Do you know what he wants to do when he gets out?
No.
Open up a restaurant across the street from you?
I hope so, yes, sir. He's as clueless as all of us were when we were 18, 20 years old.
Well, he is set to graduate, though, on time.
On time. Not earlier. Some people say you're not going to graduate earlier, but yeah,
Yeah.
he's taking it all in.
All right. Well, I'm sure you and your entire family are very proud of RJ.
RJ, yep.
RJ Samellas. RJ, we're hopefully embarrassing you here today, but you're an upperclassman, so it shouldn't be too hard on you.
Right. He's mortified right now.
Oh, is he? Okay. Well, I think he'll be all right. We have a couple thousand people watch this every week, so. And today, if the technology is not too bad, he'll be able to get past some of our little Wi-Fi issues and AT&T issues too. Again, we're at Greek Boys in downtown Columbia, South Carolina. We've got a nice crowd coming in here, George. And tell me a little bit about what all the various items, besides what I've got on my plate,
Sure.
what else are y'all serving up here? I see a board that's got probably 50 items.
Well, yes, we specialize in obviously Greek cuisine, but also we've kind of Americanized it. We do have some original Greek dishes like spanakopita. We sell the traditional gyro sandwiches, the chicken souvlaki sandwiches, the beef souvlaki sandwiches. We serve a wide variety of fresh fish, which is a big seller for us. salmon, grouper, mahi, tuna, to name a few. We also have some pasta dishes. We just have, you know what, we even sell cheeseburgers and Philly cheesesteaks.
Do you really?
Yes.
And I bet you they're probably some of the best in South Carolina.
They're super, so we sell a lot of that. But when I first opened, I didn't quite go that far extensive, but I kind of wanted to grab the guy that might want a burger, but his friend wants a piece of fish. So that was kind of my thought process. But
George, answer this question for me. Is it a law that if you have Greek blood in your body that you're an unbelievable cook? Because I've never had bad Greek food, and I've never had any kind of person with Greek ancestry cook me something and it tasted bad. What's the deal?
man, you've kind of stumped me on that one.
Am I right?
You are right. Unless you tasted my cooking. I have some great guys back there that make it happen.
God, this is so good.
No, but we, yeah, it's always, it's in my blood, it's in my family's blood. My grandparents, my dad owned restaurants. It runs deep in the heritage, and it's just, I don't know, I guess a love for food. Most of them are, I try to stay in shape and run and do physical activity, but, you know, most of them are a little overweight because they love to eat their cooking, right?
Well, you're looking pretty good. You and RJ, y'all go out and PT together?
We PT together.
You really do?
Oh yeah, I smoke him. No, I'm just kidding. Kidding. Oh, I try to run every day. I tell him I can run farther than him, but he can run faster than me. So.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So he's pretty though. Did he do any kind of athletic?
He did. He was a baseball player.
He was?
Uh-huh.
Is he not on the team anymore?
No, he had thought about it, and in fact, he knows. He played for Blake Cooper in the summertime.
Did he?
Obviously, who was the pitching coach down there at the Citadel.
Right.
And,
Former Gamecock.
Former Gamecock.
All right. Again, we're at Greek Boys. You got all these various items on the menu. I mean, I see a line forming. If you can't see it right here behind George, the salads.
Salads, yes, salads are big, you know, for the health conscious. We have a lot of Greek salads. We put different proteins on them, and you can basically get what you want. My employees tell me we Burger King here. Have it your way. So.
All right. Well, again, it's just a great restaurant, and I've heard about it. I just honestly have not been able to get down here and see and taste for myself. But when we get done here broadcasting, I'm going to have a feast here and can't wait to do it. So again, congratulations on the restaurant. Congratulations on RJ, and kind of get him across that finish line, because he. You know, don't let him slack up.
No, he's not slacking. He's got to finish hard.
Yeah, because I know you made all A's at USC, correct?
Yeah, I'm trying to get him back on that gold star train.
Oh, you made that?
He's made it twice, but and then both his freshman year. His sophomore year, he kind of slumped. He was in a slump a little bit. So.
Well, that is fantastic. RJ, keep up the good work, and maybe Dad's got something. If you want to get into this business, do you think he might have?
On that, you know what? He won't tell me that yet, but
there is a chance.
There is a chance.
He could at least start washing dishes.
That's
here.
right.
I used to do that in high school. I started out washing pots before I washed dishes.
That's right. I told him that Citadel ring looked good in the dish area.
Yeah, I bet it would. George Samellas, again, thank you so much for letting us come
Yes,
in
sir.
here.
Thank you.
Greek Boys, it's been an absolute pleasure. And again, thank you for the food, and we look forward to coming back in here again.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
George, thank you very much. All right. Well, we are still looking for the answer to our trivia question and still don't have a correct one guessed. But I do have a pretty cool little email that just came in. And that email is, it looks like, come November 3rd on our Citadel line, Chris Lamonis is scheduled to be our guest, the head coach of the national champion Mississippi State Bulldogs and a class of 1992 Citadel alumnus. So we're going to have some star power coming up here in a couple of weeks. In fact, next week we got lots of stars. We got Chris Lamonis coming up November 3rd. But next week on the Citadel Grand Line, we're going to have Luke Morrow, the play-by-play voice, the voice of the Bulldogs. He's going to be on with us, or is scheduled, I should always say scheduled to be our special guest when we're back in our normal setup. So lots of good stuff here on the show, all about Citadel Bulldog sports. Okay, let me take one quick last stop by the email inbox, and I don't see correct guesses. So you know what that means? It means I'm probably going to have to give y'all the answer of the very first superintendent of the Citadel, which also would have been superintendent of the Arsenal, both of which at that time would have been members of the South Carolina Military Academy, established in 1842, but didn't quite get going as an institution until the next year, 1843. The answer is, let me throw up one more time our great presenting sponsor of this, and that's BigRedPalmetto.store. If you can tell me in the next 30 seconds the answer, we'll get you a $25 gift certificate. 843-779-8496. That is the way to go. 843-779-8496. You know what? I think I'm just going to hold off on the answer because we have a lot of people that watch this show after it airs live, and a lot of those people actually text in their answers, and I take the first correct answer that's texted in to 843-779-8496. So we'll just hold off on that. Again, who the first superintendent of the South Carolina Military Academy was, and we'll share with you the lucky answer, the lucky winner, when we get back together next week. So again, from Greek Boys in Columbia, South Carolina, thank you for tuning in. And we get you ready now for the Citadel and Western Carolina. Jeff Hartsell was on the very beginning of this show, kind of helping us preview what this matchup means. Citadel needs a big win. They need to get back on the winning track, or the season could really spiral out of control. Let's hope Brett Thompson's team does just that and gets another win in SoCon play. We'll be back right here next week to tell you all about it and get you ready for the next game on the SoCon slate. And we'll be back in our normal studio. So thanks for everybody for putting up with this here. Again, from Greek Boys in Columbia. Great place, out on the corner of Sumter and Hampton Street. And I knew this area looked familiar when I got here. I knew there was just something about it that seemed familiar. And then all of a sudden it hit me, y'all. Right over there, almost can see it out the window, was where I was born. At the Baptist Hospital. So I knew this place looked familiar. Thank you again for tuning in, Citadel Rail Line. Everybody have a great week, and we'll be right back next week with you with more Bulldog Talk.